Boom. What's up, y'all? We're going to go ahead and look at some opportunities for the upcoming week, which is going to be starting on Sunday, March 19th, right, or Monday, March 20th. So I got three time frames pulled up right now: the weekly, daily, 2 hour, just so we can have some different views of price and what it's doing as we go through a couple of different charts. Might go through maybe like 60 or 80 charts, who knows? Uh, and so we can just see what's out there. So let me scroll to the top. Let's work our way through. All right. And what I'm looking for, just going to be stuff that's standing out kind of immediately to me. Not too focused on breaking down and isolating every single chart, but just anything that kind of pops out, right? United Airlines, you see it pull back to bounce exactly off of this weekly low right here. All right, like that's the type of stuff I'm like, oh, right, we're bouncing off of a weekly low. We got a big gap right here that we can, look to go fill at some point. So I know that there's a gap to fill right there. And then I'm gonna look at the smaller time frames and see what's going on. So not only did we bounce off that level, but we just kind of consolidated out after that. And you can see it here too, right? The consolidation on the 2 hour. So for UAL, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at this for a trade because not only do we see the bounce off the weekly low, but even on our higher time frame, on our lower time frame, we see that we're starting to base out. We might have these, are these inside candles? No, they're not, but they're close. And then we have multiple gaps above. Right? If we do an RSI on here, then obviously we will be super oversold. Right? So we're oversold on the daily. You don't need an RSI to tell you that we're at 30, but you could tell that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and look at setting an alert for this. We can get a break above 43.87. Right. So I'm gonna set my alert 43. I'm gonna set 43.90. I'm gonna look for a 15-minute candle close if I'm gonna swing it. And then for a day trade or short-term swing, since it'll be Monday that we're taking this trade, so we get a weekly, we got we can let it go from Monday to Tuesday, right? Just trading it back up to the high of this range that is created from this huge candle right here is in itself enough to make a decent move on a day trade, right? And getting the weekly contract or getting a contract for an extra week out then opens us up to the opportunities to catch these gap fills, however many gaps it fills if it makes a move back up. So that's one thing I'm looking at. And you can even look at the trend line right there that's being created on the weekly. So UAL to me looks good for swings, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and then we could day trade it too. Looks like we got one on the first chart. Shopify. We already bounced off of this level. Kind of looks similar to UAL, right? Got a trend line support, got a horizontal bounce right there. All right, so the thing that I'm seeing as well as on the weekly, you see that we have the rejections right here at that $45 area, 45.25 looks like. All right, 45.43 here, 45, 45.98. All right, so about 45 to 46, we see we've been rejecting, but we're holding up now, right? We're holding up. Our lows are continuing to get higher. So Shopify looks good for a move back up too. When you come down to the 2 hour over here, we can see those resistance levels on the 2 hour. And then we see the gap we have to fill up here. And I am feeling good. All right. Yeah. Shopify weekly was like an inverted head and shoulders. Absolutely. Appreciate you pointing that out. All right. And if that's the case, then we've already broke the inverted head and shoulders and then it pulled back into it. Maybe that's why my mind kind of skipped over that. Or maybe I just didn't see it. Or I just saw it and validated it. Established the trend line. But either way, right? Looking at some bullish sentiment, we are starting to get higher lows. Our highs have been getting higher, right? So if you want to kick out like that, right, you could do that as well. And looking at that as an ascending channel on Shopify, So weekly, same sort of deal, right? We're looking at ultimately coming back up, at least to test this level where we had the previous rejections, because now we know that's what we're likely to reject again. All right, and that's going to set us up for 16% move. Okay. So on a smaller time frame is where I'm looking at where I would look to actually take my entry. All right. So I just want to see, I'm fine with taking my entry anywhere that we close inside of these wicks for this swing. So Shopify, just like UAL, United Airlines, you got potential to day trade. I would really just be swinging it. So short-term swing, not a day trade. Looking at the length of time that's been going on. We see we rejected over here at 45.60, 45.60 again, we're rejecting. All right, so that's why I'm looking for a close here. So far, no candle on 2 hours been able to close in this area. We need to close there. That's letting me know that the selling pressure that previously existed is starting to loosen up more. And that's when I'll look at taking a position and riding that out up to that gap fill, with the stop loss just being a lower low, right? Setting myself up for a favorable risk to reward. You can also wait on it to break and close above this one, but I'm just going to be getting in a lot quicker. And then my target will be this gap fill up here, right? Just like that. Somebody in the chat asked, can you tell me how you get all your charts on screen like this? This is a feature that comes with the subscription to TradingView. Yeah, I have TradingView Premium or whatever the highest level of TradingView is. Yeah, so I can get like 8 screens. I wouldn't do that, but yeah, it depends on what what level of membership you have at TradingView if you have a subscription. So that's Shopify. I'm just setting an alert for this high, which is $45.97. So I'm setting an alert for $46, just to trigger me to come look at it. And then from there, I'll assess it. I want to see it close in here. And then, my stop loss is going to be below that lower low. All right, which would also be triggering a break of the trend line. All right. And really, I'm going to just let it close below that. So I might get 2 weeks out on my contract. The contract I'm looking at swinging and closing same week for the gap fill. And then, we have all this other room up, which will be a contract that might be, what's this? Yeah, so that'd probably be a 2 months out contract to give it time to come back and test that level. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Y'all said it's time for the video to get shorted. All right, I'll make sure I tag the video too. I'm not trying to find a setup on every chart I go to, but dang. All right, I'm gonna leave this alone. Zoom, I'm not really liking this from the weekly standpoint. All right, we held support. We did hold support. We also have our highs getting lower, so it's kind of just diminishing the amount of room we have to trade it. Could you trade that for a bounce back up to here? Yeah, absolutely. All right. So if you do want to do that, that's an option. You are going to be fighting the trend, so you're putting yourself in a little bad spot. But overall, when we look at the 2 hour, if we can get a break and close below these lows, about 68.20. If we can get that, yeah, 68.21. So we can get that close below here and then a retest on it. And we can look to go ahead and keep moving down, which is in line with the overall trend. That's something I'll be looking at seeing. And that'll just look like a breakdown here, pull back up, and then we come test this level where we previously had price supported, right? The demand zone right there. All right. So we break down, close, get a little pull back up, reject again. Cool. We can go ahead and look at moving back down to where buyers previously stepped in. And then ultimately, We can also look at this descending triangle and trade in a descending triangle with a, for us to have more targets on the way down. Ooh, and that would be a fresh low for Zoom. Mm, mm, mm. This is important. I'm gonna just say that this is important. This is why it's so important to not get caught on trends and get caught on hype, but to also look at fundamentals or look at technicals when making decisions. Because I'm sure it's people who bought it at $570 thinking that it was gonna go to 1,000, and they're down 80%, and they're just hoping it goes back up because now there's no point, right? They done lost all their money. So that's a Zoom. Let's keep rolling. PayPal. We're gonna leave PayPal where it is. PayPal look like it can bounce right here too, right? There's a little balance play on PayPal. I'm gonna keep rolling though through the next chart. Let's see, is this knee? I got it all charted up from a trade I already took on. I'm gonna let knee run. Alibaba's been dropping. Last week, even though the market moved pretty crazy, Alibaba only had a range of $4. So looks like Alibaba just isn't really doing much as of right now. But it looks like it can potentially break back down and can keep going. So, all right, let's go ahead and throw the RSI on again. We already can tell it's obviously oversold. So we can look for mean reversion, right? Or a pull. I'll just keep doing that. We can look for, there we go. We can look for it to pull back up, right? We see it's been way oversold on this daily. All right, another thing, this is why we don't automatically buy stuff just because the RSI is oversold. All right, you would have bought in and just been getting killed on the move down. All right, we want to look for actual indication that we're going to get the reversal. So Alibaba, lots of move down, still has room to keep going down. Not really interested in trying to take it to the upside, especially with news. So I'm gonna leave it be, but I will set an alert just because, just above say 85, 80. And that'll just be if it comes back right above here. So that'll be confirming that it took out the weekly high and continue moving higher. Just something to look at, not necessarily an immediate thing to trade off of. Check the chat. How you determine to give it a month out? The other trade would have been a week out. Yeah, so it's based on the time frame, looking at how long it took the move to happen, right? On a weekly time frame, if I'm looking at something that took 2 weeks to happen, right? Say we're looking at just this move, let's say from this zone right here, right? So we hit the zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and then bounced up, right? So it took us, I guess this would be week 6, took us 6 weeks to get the move out of this level, right? When we come and retest this level again and I snag this entry on that pullback into the zone, I know it last time it took us 6 weeks to break back up, all right? So I'm gonna get an 8-week contract. So I have time, right? 2 months. So I have time for it to make that move. And yeah, right, we see what happened. We don't know the future, but we see it did make a huge move up in the next 3 weeks, right? It went up 13%. That can't tell me that even on a 6-week out contract, you're not going to get money off of that 12% move up, right? So it's more just about having safety and giving the trade time to work out, and just buying that safety, buying an extra week or 2 weeks. I'd rather it, happen quicker and I have the time to let it happen quicker than for me to buy too soon and it happen after, right? If it took 2 weeks and I had a 1-week contract, I lose my money. All right. If it took 2 weeks and I had a 4-week, 5-week contract, Cool. All right. What indicator was the blue dotted lines on Alibaba chart? I don't think I had. There's just the horizontal line. That's not an indicator. It's just the line I put out. This is the line. Yo, I just realized the mistakes I made from what you just said. I buy my contracts too soon without enough time. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And the name of the game is to make money, fam. You know, you just got to do self-assessment, right? We'll talk about it some more after. Let's keep going through the watch list, and then we'll talk about it a little more after. I'm glad you realized it, bro. And no, I'm not using the RSI strategy for any of this, right? I'm just, I was just showing, ooh, yeah. I was just showing that it's clearly overbought or oversold, but you know, people like looking at the RSI to confirm what they already see, what price is already telling you. All right, like we don't need an RSI to tell us that AMD is overbought right now on this time frame. But that's just my point. AMD huge breakout. Looks like I already had AMD laid out. All right, cool. It's breaking out. Damn, it look like it already made a move from what the target would be. Nah, we still got room. Still got room. Bam. So this will be the target on AMD on that breakout. AMD, I will wait for the pullback. No need in chasing something that's already moving. Let it come back to you. If it don't come back to you, go on to another stock. There's tons of stocks you can trade. So let it come back. AMD, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We have this level that was resistance here, supported this candle. So this is gonna be the level I'm looking at. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take this indicator here, pivot points high low. I'm gonna actually just move that over to this. Boom. So about 88.94. All right. This low is 89. This close 89.68. Yeah, so I'm gonna just put it at 90. Ha. And it might not move all the way back down to 90. So I'm gonna do one at 90.50. One at 90.50. And I'm gonna also look at where a 50% pullback on that candle would be, which is 92.92. Just about. I'm gonna just put it down for 93. Boom. All right. So those are gonna trigger me. I'll see how price action handles that level back there. If we get the pullback, if not, hey, maybe AMD just shoots up to the target of 107 after passing, 102 and 104. And that's fine. If it goes, it goes. Not worried about chasing a trade when the risk to reward is becoming minimal, right? When you look at your trade, let's say we get in, here. If our target is here, all right, we still got to figure out where our stop loss is. The whole candle might retrace. All right, but you're giving yourself so much more room for drawdown than you are for profit. All right, I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do is wait for a pullback down on one of these levels. All right. And now I'm giving myself more room for profit than for drawdown. All right. Let's keep rolling. Oh, and that's what y'all probably looking at on in the video too. We're gonna get to the video. I'm gonna flip through some more bullish engulfing on Amazon. Look for a continuation on a break of the high of the weekly, which would be at 101. Bam, cool. Yeah, bullish engulfing probably would be holding as a lower high. All right, okay, move up to 103.59. We see we got rejections over here, where it was support over here, turn to resistance over here. All right. Golly, boy. Bullish engulfing on Google. Same rules apply. Get a break at a high. Target the high here. All right. You see we previously rejected that level. Don't be surprised if it rejects again in triple top. All right. So that'll be a move from 103.50 to 108. Always get more time than you need. I mean, that's how I like to do. Unless you know, never mind. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after the watch list. Triple M, just dropping. I ain't really too interested on that. IBM, nah, we good. Spotify. At some point, it's gonna shoot up here. At some point, Spotify. I'm gonna look at a break of the high 133.33. Yeah, I'm gonna let us break these highs. See what we do there. See if we pull back hold as resistance. We got room to move back up on Spotify. We did take out this high here. All right, so this would have been resistance. We took that out. So we're just gonna see if we continue to move up. I'm not gonna chase it. Nothing on JP Morgan to me. Baidu, huge weekly resistance here. Huge weekly resistance. Just waiting on that. And you got to move back up to it. That's possible that you could take. Nothing really too pretty to me on the smaller time frames. Your lows, higher lows. All right, so until we take those out, I don't feel like I have confirmation on Baidu. It's a great company, great fundamentals. You know, China always has these laws that throw stuff off, but no point in getting in calls just to get smacked by this resistance if you're swinging it or trying to leap it. Right, I'm looking at the weekly. Nothing really stands out to me on a daily. Not too much going on in that chart. F5. We broke through the resistance. Broke through the support here. Came back, so I'm not really looking at nothing for real on that. Procter and Gamble broke through that bear flag, so you can look for continuation. Test is 144. All right, so if you want to day trade or scalp it, you can scalp it up to 144. That's doable. Johnson & Johnson has been shooting straight down. Right. Again, we don't buy calls just because the RSI. And this, matter of fact, we're gonna flip to the video real quick. All right. And the video's been shooting up. It's been overbought. It's overbought here. It's overbought here. It's overbought here. It's still overbought. We do have bearish RSI divergence. All right. What that means is that the RSI is making lower highs while the stock is making higher highs. All right, so you're looking for it to flip. But point in case, if your whole reason for saying the video needs to drop now is just because it's up, it's the same reason why you would have been getting smacked because you was like, well, Johnson & Johnson needs to go up because it's been going down. Just nothing but drop. All right, so we have to make sure that we're actually looking at the candlesticks, looking at different things to confirm. All right, and there's nothing wrong with anticipation or being prepared, but let's make sure that we don't blindly jump into positions purely off the fact that it's been going up like crazy, so it must come down. It might, you know what I'm saying? Or it might just have a little pullback that's not deep enough to make up for the losses because you didn't time your entry correctly, right? So you gotta make sure that you're studying and learning these things so that you can apply it in real time to your trades, right? So Johnson & Johnson still dropping. Got a little consolidation, went inside on the weekly. There's some potential there, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Apple, Clorox. Clorox, this is nice. Now this is nice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move. That is beautiful. So you got a huge weekly bull flag on Clorox. That's nice to see. I'm gonna set an alert for Clorox on the break above 156.50. Not an immediate trade trigger, but I just want to know that it's coming back up. Either at the top of that, or if it comes back down to test this lower part of the bull flag at 149, I would love to get in down there for calls. And if it breaks down, Now I have a much tighter stop loss to where I can cut it at. All right. So at 150.42. All right, the ability to just cut it down here if it breaks down, but having that room to go up and then it breaks the bull flag and shoots up and gives another candlestick that looks just like this one. Pretty. Now it's the earnings too. So we'll see what happens. There's about 4 more. Apple testing highs on the weekly. Be careful of that if you're hopping in calls. You can see it on the smaller time frames too. Right, just all these highs that it's holding up at. So again, safest way to trade breakouts is breakout, pullback, retest, right? And then getting in on the pullback to hold true to the level. You can trade the first break above. Oftentimes you'll get faked out and it'll just drop back down, right? You can trade the break and close, retest, and then, the safest thing to me is wait for it to actually take out the high of the retest candle, because now you've really confirmed that. But risk to reward rise, entering on that pullback candle is going to give you the best premium and best situation risk to reward wise. Do a couple more. Target, like it might just keep dropping, even though it finished green here, took out the lows here, but not too exciting to me. IWM, Bitcoin sell. I'm finna trade crypto like all day tomorrow. IWM sitting at this weekly support, right? So we see we bounced here, flipped up, right? Bounce here again, bounce. So a level that we've bounced at multiple times on the weekly. You can see it on the monthly as well, right? So that's something to be careful of if you have like a super deep bearish bias. But if it breaks that and continues down, then you do have room below to come down to 162. So just look at the potential for a bounce. Right, look at the bounce for the Russell 2000. If you're trading stocks that are included in the Russell, then that'll give you some opportunities as well. Last thing I'm gonna make note of, economic calendar. We do have FOMC on the 22nd. I think that's Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, right, make sure that you're alert, make sure that you know that can shift the way the market moves, not only that day, right? So if you have swings that are short-term swings, right, FOMC might rock them. Sorry, not rock them. It might rock them a little bit, or it might help them. Right, so just be aware that you have, a big market event that can shift, what's going on. Good day for scalping and day trading if you're aware and alert and able to, take advantage of the volatility. This is one thing to make note of. I don't really think anything else is important for us now. So that being said, that's some things. I'm probably gonna make another watch list for day trades only, like I usually do. It's gonna get posted to my YouTube. Probably make that tomorrow. Let's check the chat. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and talk. I'm not gonna make a separate Zoom yet. Indicator was a pivot high, pivot low. Let it come down 50%. Get in, correct. Are you targeting calls only or puts also? I'm not sure which stock that was in reference to, but I'll look at both ways. I made a mistake last week. I did lose a trade. Not to say I don't lose trades, but I lost the trade because I was looking only to the call side, only with the bear or the bullish bias, and it gave a beautiful double top that I didn't even take advantage of because I was in my head already committed fully to the idea of it going and filling a gap. I completely missed the opportunity. So I was in the trade and I lost on the trade because I was married to this idea that it had to go up and it didn't. So QQQ already bounced off of our weekly levels down here, made a new weekly low and pushed back up. So we need to see how we handle this weekly high from the previous week before we look at us moving further up. It's interesting the video has moved up so much and QQQ hasn't, but it's its own thing. On the daily, we see that we did make our first new higher high. I'm gonna make that bigger. All right, so we see that we had lower high, lower high, lower high. All right. You can also put the trend line on there to see it a lot clearer. All right. And now we've broken out of that. So ideally, well, we already did. Bang. So that was a good entry right there, right? Entry on the pullback to retest this level. It could come back further and retest this here, which would be also kind of resembling testing the trend line before looking at a move back up. But there's your QQQ, how I'm looking at it from the daily. All right, that move up. And then we come back and test the high over here. I'm gonna let the arrow look like that. That's really how I'm looking at that as a resistance to be tested, right? Take to 1 hour. Yep, you was thinking about getting calls on the retest. Absolutely. So cool, y'all. Man, my laptop died. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this recording, post it on YouTube.